Hi guys, it's Haley. Today I'm going to show you my updated everyday makeup look without using foundation. This is the most requested look you guys asked me to create. There's some new makeup tips that I recently incorporated in my look and also new products that I've been loving nowadays. So I'm so excited to share all of that. And this is a look that is designed to people who love no foundation look, like no makeup look. My skin is like breathing right now because I didn't cover anything on like this area with foundation. I only use small amount of concealer on the specific area where I need some coverage or I want some coverage, and I try to minimize all the other makeup, but maybe I put a little bit extra effort on my lips because that's what I love about. There's nothing wrong about doing more makeup, doing less makeup, but it's all about preference. So if you love natural look, no makeup, no foundation makeup look, this is a look for you. So I'm so excited to share this, so let's get started. First, I'm gonna start with my everyday essential, which is color corrector, and it is Bobbi Brown Corrector in Bisque. I feel like I don't need to explain about this product anymore because I talk about a lot on my channel, but this color is just perfect for my under dark circles, and the Bisque shade is right in between peach and pink colors. So if you don't know what shade to choose for your under dark circles, Bisque will be more like veil-free choice unless you have a very severe under dark circles, more like a brown color. If you have light medium skin, I feel like this shade will be just perfect. I always use my fingers to blend a little bit on the back of my hand first and apply it around my under eye area and then blend with my fingers, and also put a little bit on my lips because it looks a little bit darker than the rest of my face. This is before and after. It doesn't make a huge difference, but still like brightens my look, and you can see there's a little bit of like peachiness or pinkiness. It mimics the natural skin tones. It's not like very obvious orange or peach color, so it looks very natural. So this is after blending with my fingers, and I'm gonna put a little bit around my lips because my lip area is a little bit darker. And this is after doing my color corrector. You see how it just brightens my look in a very natural way. Next, I'm gonna use concealer. For concealer, I'm gonna use this Armani Luminous Silk Perfect Glow Concealer. And I'm gonna mix these two shades, shade 5 and 6. The reason why I mix these two colors is because I wanna just create the perfect shade for my skin. And if you've been watching my channel, you know I love this Armani, this like thin one concealer, but I feel like they kind of discount this, so I cannot find it anymore. So I've been using this more like hydrating version of this concealer, and this concealer is specifically made for under eyes, so it's more hydrating and maybe it has less coverage, but it feels like not too dry and not too matte, just perfect for under eye dark circles or just under eye area. So the shade 5, I found it looks a little bit lighter on my skin, and the shade 6 is more like olive shade. So if I mix these two color, I found that it could be my perfect match because I'm neutral olive undertones. So I'm just gonna blend the shade together to create my perfect match. So first I'm gonna use this really mini concealer and take a little bit with the brush, and I'm gonna cover my pores first by pushing the product into my nose pores because I have pretty large pores on my nose, so I just want to make sure that I cover them perfectly by like pushing the product. And I already talked about this brush in my previous brush make recommendation video, and this brush is just perfect to like cover the nose pores or just any like large pore areas. It makes you look blurry, so you don't need a primer if you use this type of brush with the right concealer. And then I'm gonna move on to the lighter areas like under eye dark circles and take a little bit of product on the back of my hand first, and then I just blend with my fingers starting from the under eye area, and I apply really thin layer because I don't want my look very thick and heavy, so I'm just lightly blending with a very light hand so that I can get more natural look. And this is after doing corrector and concealer. And if I want to brighten my look a little bit, I'm gonna take a little bit of lighter shade of concealer. This is K Color Mixing Concealer in the shade 2, and I kind of take this lightish shade. It's very hydrating cream concealer, so it doesn't dry out my skin, and the coverage is very natural And I take a little bit on the back of my hand first, because when I use a concealer shade, I use a shade that matches with my skin color. So sometimes it looks kind of dull because I didn't put any concealer, just brighten the center areas. If I want to like brighten my look, just center my face, I kind of use this lighter shade of concealer and put a little bit on the center like here, but not too much, just light layer so that I can get more dimension look. And a little bit like here. Because I'm using really thin layer, it doesn't feel heavy at all, even though I'm using two different concealer. It's more about how much you apply and where you apply. So I'm like minimizing the area of applying concealer and also really thin layer. So this after doing color corrector, concealer, everything, and you can see it looks very natural but still like looks very even. And I didn't put anything on this like period of my face, like here and a little bit, and this like forehead area is almost like bare face. I didn't put anything here, and I just keep focus on the center of my face. My skin looks very even put together but still looks very natural. So this is just my everyday go-to base makeup routine without using any foundation. Until like 2 or 3 days ago, I used to be obsessed with using the high coverage concealer like this TonyMoly concealer palette. You draw really thin line like hollow lines to cover them perfectly. But I found that after like few hours of doing that concealer techniques, my under eye area gets started to like crease and it creates a lot of wrinkles and it got really dry. So I kind of like stopped doing that for that reason, and I found it looked more natural. So instead of like trying to make it like look perfectly covered, I found that just leave it on its own would be just much more easier and more comfortable for my skin. Like obviously if I want to look more like put together and more effort, and if I ever go to an event or take a good pictures, I would do that. But just for everyday, I found it is a little bit too much. Also, I found that skin prepping is really important, and like 2 days ago I put this eye patch before I do my makeup again, and I found that it brightened my like under eye area and I didn't even need that much concealer. So I found that skin prepping is much more important than using a thick high coverage concealer. So if you guys want me to make a video about skin prepping before makeup, please let me know in the comment down below. I have accumulated a lot of good techniques that I can share. And next I'm moving on to eye makeup, and for eye makeup as always I'm gonna use this Makeup by Mario, the Neutrals eye makeup palette. I just cannot live without this palette. It's just my everyday makeup palette, and I always take this lightish shade first. This is more light taupe color, and I use this as a base first. And first I'm gonna just put a little bit on my lid first and just create that natural shadow. And I would say this is more like a base color before putting any darker color on my lids or adding more definition. And it's not the warm brown colors, which I love about, so it creates a natural shadow look. And using this more wider brush, I'm taking the same color and along my lower lash line as well. And this is after base eyeshadow, and I'm moving on to darker color. And for darker color, I'm taking this like mid-tone taupe shades and take a little bit. This is a brush Refer 02 brush. It has more tension, so I would say this is perfect to add more like a strong color payoff color for your eyes. So I'm focusing more on the outer part of my eyes, like this area, and then bring the color all the way to the front. And then add a little bit of depth to the inner corner so that I can create more dimension shadow. And then taking a little bit of the mid-tone color, I'm also like deepen my lower lash lines. This will add much more depth to my eyes, and I feel like this technique is more Asian way to create depth, because I found that like Western makeup don't really put eyeshadow that much on the lower lash lines. So I found that it looks more flattering on the Asian eyes. So I always deepen my lower lash lines. And after eyeshadow, I always curl my lashes, and I always hit up the eyelash color with the lighter. I know it looks very scary, but it's worth. But if you have very straight, stubborn lashes, this technique is gonna be a lifesaver. But I highly recommend starting with the hair dryer instead of lighter, because the lighter can hit the color so fast, so you can burn your eyes. So for hair dryer, you can check the temperature, and it's much safer. So after hitting the eyelash color, I kind of check the temperature with my fingers. And I curl my lashes. And if I find that I curl too strong or too much, and I kind of like brush them out to lose the curl a little bit so that I can create more natural look. And then I'm gonna put this mascara primer right away to keep the curl all day. And just brushing them a little. And this is the look and before. You see how it makes a huge difference. I just finished the upper lashes and I kind of want to like curl my lower lashes, but I'm not going to use an eyelash color, but I'm going to use this wooden stick to like make my lashes not clump together by like opening the like lower lashes like this. To do that, I'm just going to heat the wooden stick first. This is more like Korean makeup techniques that all the Korean makeup artists do for lower lashes. And then I kind of like burned a little until it got fire, and then check the temperature. And then I kind of like press the lower lashes a little bit so it can like curl a little bit with the heat. And then I can kind of like do this with the upper lashes so they can get lifted a little bit. And this is after doing everything for my eyelashes. It takes a while, but you see how it makes a huge difference. And if I put the eyeliner, mascara, it will make a huge difference and it will make my eyes much bigger. Before moving on to eyeliner, I'm gonna mattify my under like lower lash line areas to prevent my eyeliner getting smudged. So to do that, I'm gonna use this translucent powder from Hourglass and take a little bit of this powder. And you don't have to use that expensive powder. You can just use any mattify translucent powder just to mattify. So I'm taking a little brush here, and then instead of like blending all the way, I kind of like press the powder like this because I want to make sure that I just place the product right here, because I found that this is the area that my eyeliner gets smudged the most. So I kind of want to like mattify this area so that it won't like smudge at all. And also I'm gonna put a little bit of this powder on my eyebrow as well. When I draw like eyebrow pencil or put the eyebrow powder, most of the times it can get like muddy. So to make a smooth base, more like a silky base, I always mattify my eyebrow area. You can just use it like small brush or even like eyeshadow brush to mattify only the eyebrow area. And I kind of add a little bit of powder on my nose and a little bit around my lips as well. And next I'm moving on to eyeliner. For eyeliner, I'm gonna use this TonyMoly Eyebrow Gel in brown. And to draw the lines, I always use this 정샘물 Eyeliner Gel brush. And this is more like professional makeup artist techniques that a lot of makeup artists in Korea do. Tightening with a gel eyeliner and draw the lines. So I kind of get used to using this eyeliner gel, but if you are beginner in makeup, or you can use like pencil eyeliner, which is much easier. And first, I always take a little bit of the eyeliner on the back of my hand first, and then I do tight lining. For tight lining, it is a makeup technique that you put the eyeliner on the waterlines. If you like do this a little bit, you see there's a little bit of the waterlines here, and you put the eyeliner that area. It might look very scary, and this is how I do like tight lining. I kind of like push the product like this and do a little press so that it can draw properly. This is before tight lining and this is after. You see a huge difference. And usually people do eyeliner on here, like right above the lash lines. And if you put a liner on this like crease area, it's gonna look too thick and unnatural. And especially if you have hooded eyes or Asian eyes, this highlighting technique is just perfect. And it will get your makeup look so sophisticated, much more detailed, like making your eye look bigger, but in much more natural way. And I always do tight lining, and then after tight lining I do a little wing eyeliner, and I just follow my natural eye shape. I don't go too high or too low. I just follow my like straight lines. And after finishing my eyeliner, I kind of want to blend a little bit to make it look softer, and I'm gonna use this deepest brown color from the eyeshadow palette, and using this very tiny flat eyeshadow brush, I kind of like draw the lines again, following the lines I already drew. And then I kind of want to add more depth to me inner corner, so I'm kind of like blend a little like here. And I'm not gonna do more like under center. I'm focusing on the inner corner and outer corner. That way we can get more precise look instead of drawing the thick line all the way. If I found that the line got thicker, I can take this like lip brush or concealer brush and just take a little bit of the concealer with the brush and blend a little bit on the back of my hands. And I can fix a little bit, like draw really tiny straight line like this, then so that the lines can like sharper and I can clean that messiness easier. So if you find that the lines got messy, use concealer with this small brush and then clean that up later, which is much easier, and then it looks much clean. And this is after doing the eye makeup, eyeliner, and this is before. And I'm gonna finish everything on this side and come back. So I just finished my eyeliner, eyeshadow, just everything. Before moving on to mascara, I kind of want to add more depth to the lower lash lines, like here, like more like outer part of my lower lash lines. As I said earlier, if you want to make your eye looks more sophisticated, more put together, if you like connect the same color with the upper lids to the lower lash lines, it'll look more complete. So I kind of want to add more like darker color, like brown shadow, and I'm kind of gonna mix this taupe color with a little bit of this darkest color. And then using the small eyeshadow brush, I kind of want to add more depth to the outer part of my lower lash lines, like here. And then a little bit on this side as well. I'm not drawing the line all the way to the front. I'm just focusing on the outer part of my lashes and then just stop in the middle. And that way we can create a more natural look like this, so that you can deepen your eyes in a much more natural way. And I find that if I do too much of eye makeup more than this, there is so much unbalance between my like bare face and my heavy eye makeup. So I like to keep things more simple and minimal for my face and for my eye as well. And for mascara, I'm gonna go with this, my favorite ETUDE Color Fix mascara, and this has been my best mascara ever. And if you guys haven't tried this mascara yet, please try. And I already talked about this mascara when I went to Korea last November. All the makeup artists I work with use this mascara, so I have to get it, and it's the best mascara ever. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of mascara on my upper lashes and lower lashes. And it doesn't clump at all, and it comes out really like clean and perfect for that clean mascara look. And I love Korean mascara especially because the texture and the consistency is not too thick and it's more lightweight, so it keeps my color all day. And also I'm gonna put a little bit on my lower lashes to keep it natural. I just always go with this eyebrow powder from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is brow powder duo in ash brown, and I always take this ash brown shade, like take a little bit of the product on the back of my hands, and I'm just like filling my brows like this. And I prefer the look more like undone type of makeup look, especially for my brows, because I found that if the brow is too perfect or too shaped like you draw with the mark pen, it makes the whole look too glam or too complete. So I find that if the brow is very natural, it makes everything like other makeup looks very effortless and very chic. So I like doing my brow makeup very simple, very natural. If there's any spars, I don't try to like filling that part with the brow pencil unless I want like glam look. But this is just my preference for my brows. After building my brows, I just brush them up like this to make it more blurry and more natural. We finished the brows, and now we have contour, blush, and lip makeup. And for contour, I'm gonna use this Makeup Forever Artist Color Crayon in the shade Luminous Taupe. I bought it 3 days ago, and I found this shade is just perfect for my skin. It's a perfect definition of between contour and bronzer, and it's not too warm, not too cool, and it's just perfect contour slash bronzer shade. So I'm just gonna go pre-mirror my face and a little bit here under my like chin area, and then I'm gonna blend with this MPH brush, and this is perfect for blending the cream product. So I'm just blending the edges to look more natural and softer like this. So this is after blending everything together, and you see it looks very natural, and the shade is just perfect contour slash bronzer color, as you can see. And now we are moving on to blush, and for blush, it's so hard to pick the one that I use every single day because I switch up a lot of blushes. But if I have to pick the one shade that I reach out the most, would be this Rhode Pocket Blush in Tan Line. It is more like a muted neutral pink blush with a little bit of warmth in it. So it makes my look very useful and gives that very natural blush look. So I reach out this shade the most nowadays base for everyday makeup look. So first I'm gonna take a little bit of this blush with fingers, and it has a really creamy texture, and you can see it has a really sheen glow. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit on the back of my hand to adjust the amount, because it has a really high coverage, so you have to make sure you get really natural look by blending with your fingers. And then I kind of add this color, mostly the center of my cheek, and then blend a little. And you see how it just naturally like blended. And then if I want more color, I can add a tiny dots here. And with the empty fingers, I just blend right away like this. Then I can create a more natural look even when I'm using the very pigmented blush. And I'm gonna do the same on this side, blend a little. So this is after the blush. It looks very natural, very fresh. So this is literally my everyday blush makeup look. And now I'm moving on to lip makeup. I feel like nowadays I'm more onto lip makeup after like finding out Lina Park makeup tutorial and following her techniques. And I also find my own techniques that create that naturally sculpted lip makeup look. So I'm gonna show you how. First, I'm gonna take this Peach Underpainting Palette and using this Dior eyeshadow brush 22, and I take this 4 shade which I'm almost running out, and this is a more like very neutral bronzer shade that is not too warm, not too dark, just perfect for contouring my lips. So first I'm gonna draw the lines following my natural lip lines, and I'm not trying to overlining my lips, I'm just following my natural lines and blend a little outwards. And don't forget the inner corners and connect it, because it's gonna make your look more put together if you connect all this here. And this is after contouring my lips. You see my lips looks sculpted and looks bigger but still very natural. So I love using this palette to contour my lips. And after that, I love using this type of very fresh light pink color on the center instead of going too dark, because I already put the brown liner type of shade for my lips, outer part of my lips. And if I put this type of lighter shade of pink color, it's gonna create more like balanced, like fresh pink makeup look. So I'm gonna put this shade, KOSAS lipstick in the shade Malibu. I'm gonna put a little bit on the center, and you see how it just instantly brightens my lip area with that light pink color. So I'm obsessed with this color nowadays, and I have more steps to complete the look. It's very complicated, but it's worth it. And I kind of want to add more shadow to my lips, so I'm gonna use this cool tone brown liner. This is Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao. I already talked about this in my Sephora recommendation video. This is the only like cool tone brown liner I found that is worth the money, and I couldn't really find this from the drugstores. And using this color, I don't draw like whole lines, like big lines. I just add a really tiny shadow lines like here underneath my lips, and I only draw like this area. And using the eyeshadow brush, I kind of blend a little, and then you see how there's a natural shadow like here, like cool tone color, and I can like connect a little and like this. And also I kind of want to add more on my upper lids, and then blend again. And you see how there's a more like depth to my lip like this. I put the brown liner, I put the brown contour, and then this cool tone like deeper color contour like shadow, and it creates that natural perfect shadow to my lips. And on top of that, if I want more like glossy lip makeup look, I will add this Saie lip gloss on top. And this is the shade Bubble. It's like muted soft pink color. This is my most favorite color from this lip gloss. And I take a little bit of this lip gloss on the center, and then just tapping a little. So this is literally my everyday lip makeup look. And for the last step, I'm just gonna put this color correcting powder, and I'm mixing these 3 shades to brighten my look and do a little color correcting. And these 3 shades like blue and purple are supposed to like brighten or neutralize that orangeness or yellowness in your skin. So it's gonna brighten your look in natural way instead of using a lighter shade of concealer. So I usually put this powder mostly like front cheek area and a little bit under my eye area to brighten that. And it's gonna make my skin blurry as well. So it's just perfect color corrector slash just brightening powder. So you see how it makes my skin look blurry instantly, but it doesn't make my skin too dry or too like cakey. It is so like lightweight, very luxury feel type of powder. So this is my updated everyday makeup look. I hope you guys find it very helpful. There's some new or old techniques that I've been using and also the products. And I feel like when it comes to no foundation makeup, it's all about letting go that perfectionism. Because I didn't try to make my skin look perfect, and I skipped that spot concealing and then like thin line technique to cover my like hollow, like under dark circles, and also just contour as well. And also it's more about balance. If you do like crazy smoky eye without foundation, you might find that it looks unbalanced, so you might tend to put less makeup, eye makeup, contour and everything. So, and please let me know if you have any makeup looks you want me to create in my next video in the comment down below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.